I work night shifts at an airport, cleaning planes for different airlines. I recently got the pass to start cleaning for a second airline. I never had any issues until I started working on these two planes. I clean the same group of planes every night, as they stay at my airport overnight. Well, while working on one of these two planes for Airline 2, I noticed someone walk down the aisle behind me. I thought it was my co-workers leaving me to clean the plane alone. But when I looked around, my co-workers were on the opposite end of the plane still working. This happens every night I work, pretty much. I see people walk behind me, or hear footsteps, and when I look around, there's no one there. Not really a big deal, but it's all I got. Seeing as I don't believe in ghosts, but it's something that's been bothering me. So next time you're on a plane, be careful. It might be haunted. So I have this story. A lady brought her service animal on board. Turns out it was just a pet she had brought a vest for. This dog was completely out of control. He was jumping all over us in the row, barking, growling, snapping at people, and running all over the place. The flight attendant told her she would need to keep the dog in the carrier, and the lady turned into a witch, saying that she had no right to tell her to put her service dog away. Mid-flight, the dog took a dump right on the aisle floor, and it reeked so bad. Her dog had crawled up in my face, and its long nails scratched me through my shirt so hard that I began bleeding. After I got off the plane, I met up with my family and they said, "Oh my god, you smell like a wet dog." And I had to tell them this story of this awful lady and her service dog. I was flying home from Aruba on a family vacation as a kid. It was a fairly smooth flight on a 747. All of a sudden, we heard the engines spin up big time, and the plane dives, like super steep dives, and you can hear and feel the acceleration. Naturally, people are screaming and freaking the hell out, and after no more of 10 to 20 seconds, but that actually felt endless, we level off and the engines decelerate. Then the pilot comes up on the intercom with something along the lines of, "Sorry about that, folks, there was an inbound other country 747 on the same altitude as us, and we couldn't get communication confirmation, so we had to execute an emergency dive to prevent a collision." Fun times. I was flying from Vegas to Stockton. Mistake number 1, Stockton. And right at takeoff, the plane started shaking violently. I admit this can be normal, but the pilot somehow turned on the intercom and was shouting, "Whoa, whoa," like he was terrified, which in turn made me terrified. I literally started to cry. I thought this was the end. For the first time in my life, I had never until that moment actually felt like I could perish. They turned off the intercom pretty quickly, and after the longest minute of my life, the plane stopped shaking and I silently wept for the rest of the 30-minute flight. They never addressed what happened. They never reassured anyone. They just pretended like it didn't happen. Now, I am no novice to air travel. I have flown all over the world and have even felt a little jittery about flying in the past. But I can honestly say that I don't know if I can ever be so casual about flying again. For context, I'm terrified of planes. In 6th grade, my school invited me and some friends for a trip to another state. The thing is, we had to go by plane. The trip was great, but the day we were supposed to return there was a giant storm going on. The plane took off regardless, and let me tell you, Kid me almost had a stroke. Not only was it shaking a lot, people weren't calm. Everyone was basically going insane and ready to give up on life. To make matters worse, for some unknown reason, we had to go back. I thought it's because we were going to perish in the storm. We returned to the airport and I phoned my family and started crying so much that I basically wanted someone to go over to that state by car to pick me up, and it's a 5-day ride. Later we found out that a piece of ice hit the pilot's window, cracking it, making us return to the airport. I was terrified, and that left a scar on my mind. Now, whenever I enter a plane, I remind myself of what happened. Thankfully, on the day after, and not being able to sleep in the hotel because I was too scared, the 2 flights we had to take went fine, and I returned home safely.